Hi everyone, my name is Max Young. I am the CEO of Capital BPM. We are the Platinum Partner of the Year for Camunda across the entire American continent in 2024 and in 2025. I'm here with Julia Hernandez. Julia, would you please introduce yourself and tell us about your role and responsibility?
Absolutely. My name is Julia Hernandez. I work for Maxex. We are a mortgage exchange that brings partners together for sale of mortgages on the secondary market. We have a very complex business. Anything with mortgage typically is. And my role in the organization is I actually manage the implementation team in our group. Our implementation team is responsible for um, essentially onboarding clients onto our platform. And we are fortunate enough to have a team full of subject matter expertise on our team. That's one of the reasons we were kind of selected to be involved in this. So I manage that group of folks. We work very closely with the business to basically make things happen.
So Julia, tell me a little bit about why did you guys choose Camunda?
And we did look at other and different tools and everything, but I think for me, because of the background that I come from, one of the most important things about Camunda to me, I've always kind of, myself and my team, we've always kind of bridged the gap between technology and business.
Sure.
And the struggle with that always in coming up with solid requirements for technology, the struggle with that has always been a common language to be able to speak to one another. A diagram and business process modeling does that, and Camunda offers that. And it's more than just a diagram, really. It's more than just a visual representation because it obviously ties in all of the components. It shows governance and accountability, handoff. So it's really important that using that as a communication tool, that you actually get requirements right the first time.
Yeah.
And everybody understands it. And again, it's just an awesome communication tool.
Yeah, my favorite moment when people are modeling with Camunda is like when they're all looking at the diagram and some SME jumps up and goes, no, that's not right. You do this step before you do that step, right? Because that tells me it's achieved its purpose, which is everyone is looking at the same problem. So you can come and solve it in a unified way and see the impact of that.
I would agree with that. And to further that, to show that, it's, again, bringing technology, bringing business in common language. And the other advantage is that if you really, if you do a process mapping, modeling correctly, you identify any of the errors that you're going to have really from the start. So
absolutely.
Any of the errors, any of the error handling, you need to respond to those questions, and doing it in a diagram frames it for everyone.
So, Camunda has a lot of really cool features. It's got like the heat maps, and it's got optimize and operate and the modeling and decision tables. It's got the agentic orchestration stuff. What part of it sort of resonated with you? Like specifically, what capabilities or capacities did you say, yeah, that's going to hit the spot?
I think I was impressed with most that you can, there's a dashboard to be able to model it. Accountability is really important. I mean, how many times when we have all these disparate processes that are communicating with each other across systems and everything, that it's almost as though no one is accountable when there's an issue. Well, Camunda is, because the workflow lets you know where the issue is. You can monitor the issues. You can, again, mainly it's accountability and understanding where your problems are.
And that's really important for Maxex. You've got to have that auditability, right? That's
absolutely. We're required from a compliance perspective. We have to have that auditability, and we need to make sure that we can call back to our processes as we need to be able to prove our case in any situation.
So that's actually a really interesting area right now, especially in the world of AI and automation enablement. Where are you guys envisioning using AI with Camunda specifically?
Absolutely, we're very excited about that, and how Camunda allows us to fold that in. We've already actually started working on some AI agents internally that we're anxious about connecting. through Camunda. But the way that we look at that as a whole, honestly, is that AI assists, and it's an amazing assist. But you need to have a human accountable for something. So I think that, Camunda is going to allow us to do that, to offload to an AI agent when it's appropriate, right?
Right.
But not as a final decision, to be able to have learning loops within that. So
absolutely.
So that's really how we plan to use it. There's also what we're using, I would say, as it relates to Camunda. The actual processes that we're rewriting today, we're getting an assist from AI. We're actually feeding in code and feeding in processes to be able to decompose things and reimagine them through, workflow orchestration.
Makes perfect sense. So, one of the biggest challenges that I imagine you have to solve is making sure that the AI decisions stay controlled and auditable, right? How are you guys approaching that?
There's a couple of ways that we're approaching that. We're approaching it somewhat within the agent, and training the agent to give us statistics back on the reliability or its reliability of the answers. So we're doing that. We're monitoring the biggest concept that I think I can push here for AI is there's still, especially for important business decisions, a human in the loop. One of the AI agent that I was talking about earlier that we're in the process of implementing now, it specifically, at least in its first iteration, is going to be released internally for us to have the subject matter experts look at responses, provide feedback, and then again a learning feedback loop into the agent. So
because we are such nerds, we've started calling that the Obi-Wan Kenobi model, right? So the idea is like Obi-Wan is whispering in your ear, use the Force, Luke, and eventually, you start kind of listening to that. I know that you're very empirical and you're data-driven. What are sort of the measurable improvements that you're going to be looking for as a part of your Camunda journey? Like, hey, this is how I'm going to know if Camunda is actually helping us do things better, faster, and more efficiently. Have you sort of thought about the metrics that you're going to use to measure the productivity?
I would say we're evolving that and what that is going to look like. But I think, again, with the visibility that we're going to have through the workflow orchestration, we're going to be able to make more informed decisions about that.
Sure.
So, we're not there yet, but that's where we hope to go on this journey. But what I would say is that it's important to us that we have a scalable tool, which Camunda is a scalable tool. Scalability extremely important to us because we go through thousands and thousands of transactions. So we will be measuring those at each step. We'll be measuring them where there are failures and so forth. So monitoring and the dashboard capabilities that are provided and operate, we are looking forward to see where there are issues that we didn't know there were, to be honest with you.
Awesome. So you were looking at a lot of different vendors, and then within those vendors, they probably came with different recommendations for different partners. Why did you choose Capital BPM as a partner?
Honestly, it was the level of professionalism and expertise, and really approachability. It's like an extension of our team, really.
Awesome.
And that's important when you're working through a new process internally, is to have a good partnership and to have open communication. And that's primarily why we made that choice. Honestly, the track record.
Awesome. That's great. That honestly warms my heart. I love hearing that. That's what we're going for. Final question for you. If you could go back in time to Julia like 6 months ago or 9 months ago, whenever it is that you guys were looking at this, what advice would you have for her? What would you say you wish that you knew then that you've learned since then?
Oh my goodness, we've come so far since then, and we've learned so many lessons since then. I would say if I could go back in time, I would say for extremely complex processes, okay, make sure you have an idea of where you want to go first. Things that are heavy from a business logic perspective, which is another thing that's just extremely important to us, and what Camunda is going to offer us is really kind of offloading a lot of decision making that's made at the code level now, business decisions, to really have that available for subject matter experts to change and adapt quickly and adapt the business quickly. So what I would say is keep an open mind and understand that, you can solve a lot of these issues through workflow orchestration. But also be mindful of the load that you're putting into what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, very fair. Julia, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I love talking to you. This is great. I'm very grateful to you. I'm excited about what we're going to build together. I'm excited about Maxex's success. Hopefully we'll have another one of these in 6 months celebrating our victory together.
I'm truly looking forward to it. And thank you to you and your team. It's going to be a great journey.
I'm excited. Thank you, Julia. Have a good day.